and welcome to my North End. We're back. I have a highly anticipated guest, a longtime North End staple and a fan favorite, Jeff Cirace, the proprietor of V. Cirace and Sons. Jeff, it's great to have you here today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for asking me.
Oh, well, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
So your store, I mean, it's been on Chronicle like a bunch of times, and with good reason, because I tell people it's a cross between, I mean, a liquor store, but also like a fine wine shop and a museum, really.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
We've been, my grandfather started in 1906. Came over the year before, worked for a year, and then opened up the shop with my grandmother, selling grocery and tobacco.
Oh, wow.
And then after Prohibition, we were the first liquor license for the city of Boston. My dad was in the service during World War II. When he came home, my grandfather had the license, but didn't do anything with it. And then my dad was home a very short period of time, and my grandfather passed away. My dad had gone to law school and had passed the bar, and I never asked him if he intended on being an attorney or not, but he went into the business. My aunt, his sister, was already there, and they worked together. And then in 1953, my dad opened up a distributorship, started a wholesale liquor business. And then I came in to the business after my first year of college. My dad got sick and needed open heart surgery, and in those days,
Oh, wow.
it was a long time.
Yeah.
So I left school days, went nights, and I was 18 years old when I started there. So,
Wow.
and then my sister, after my aunt passed away, my sister came into the business, and we've been together over 45 years, the two of us.
No kidding.
Yeah, my dad passed away. I was young. I was only 32 years old.
Oh.
So it's been my sister and I, and we've had a great working relationship. You don't see a lot of third-generation businesses
That's for sure.
still going on. I don't know if there'll be a fourth generation, because I had one daughter who is married with two children. She's a school teacher, and she loves what she does. And I don't know if I'm going to wait that long for my grandson. He's 13, but I still enjoy what I do. So I have no immediate intentions of doing anything but just continue working.
Well,
So
selfishly, that's good to hear, because we
Yeah,
love having you here.
I enjoy being here. Really, I still, I enjoy what I do. I love my customers. I've got good employees. I've got a good team of people.
You really do.
And my import company keeps me busy also. So between everything that we do, there's always something different going on a daily basis. So
So, did you ever think growing up this is what you would do?
from the time I was little, yeah. When I was 7 years old, we lived in the suburbs. And I have an older brother who's an attorney who was not interested in the business. But from the time I was little, school vacations, I'd be in the North End with my father. Christmas time with my dad. I knew from the time I was young. I did not want to go to college. I wanted to come directly into the business, but my father insisted that I get an education. So I did, but I always knew that this is what it was. I loved it. I really did. I had a real passion for it, and basically, I did not grow up in the suburban town that we lived in. I grew up in the city. I played with kids. We played pimpleball and stickball eras when I was younger with all guys from the North End that I still see today. So,
Yeah.
So there, it's although I wasn't brought up here, I was brought up here.
Right.
So
Yeah. Well, your store is it's a integral part of the North End, and it's a blend between the old and the new, because it's still here.
we've tried. The store was my grandfather remodeled a store in the mid to late 40s, and I've really tried to keep it the same way. We've added the rooms in back, but I've tried to keep the decor the same, the old woodwork. Lisa and I we're anal about the way the store's kept. Thank God I've got great employees who share my values. And it's become an integral part of my family. I mean, it's the tradition of next year's going to be 120 years.
Seriously?
Yep.
What do you plan?
1906 we started. I don't know. I'm not a big party guy, but I would like to do something special. I don't know what it's going to be, but I thank my customers, my suppliers, people that we've done business with for such a long period of time. I don't realize, I have friends say to me all the time, Jeff, do you realize you're 120 years old, a third generation business? I don't look at it that way. It's part of what we do, and it's my family. So I don't realize sometimes the uniqueness of having a business that old.
Right.
But for me, it's second nature. It's just it's outside of my family, it's my number one priority. So. Never, I'm not a golfer, and I don't have a lot of other hobbies like gardening. I love to garden, but outside of my family, it really is my passion. So, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why Lisa and I have been there so long, because we both enjoy what we do. So.
And when you're in the store, whether it's you or your sister or anybody else there, you can tell that everybody is so knowledgeable and they really love it.
Well, it's what makes us different. The industry's changed, shopping habits have changed for people. I'm sure people buying online. You see brick and mortar stores closing all over the country. Yeah. However, I told my employees, myself, the difference between there are still people who enjoy coming in, asking our opinion, what they're having for dinner, what would you pair this with, or what would you, and so it's important that my staff is knowledgeable, so that they can suggest to people and interact with people, because the difference between a Total Wines, for example, and ourselves is that we can go in and personalize. Someone can come in and we can personalize their experience shopping with us, and we have people that will call for a delivery or for an order, and Jeff, I'm having veal Milanese tonight. What would you suggest? And that's why we still do. And the selection, we have a very unique selection of spirits and wines that you may not find in other shops that are available in our shop. So. We have over 100 grappas, for example, in our shop. We must have over 100 amados. We specialize in Italian products, but we also have spirits and wines from other parts of the world. So it's you try to be everything to everybody as much as you possibly can. But again, we focus our attention on Italian wine and spirits.
Yeah, it's amazing because I know I've gone in to buy gifts for people and I don't drink at all, so I don't know anything about anything. And I'll come in and I'll have a list, and it's really just a budget of how much I need to spend on one person.
Right.
And all of a sudden, a recommendation is made, and even if it's like $30, it just makes it sound like the most special thing.
Right. Well, we tried to accommodate everybody. Whether it be corporate gift giving or personalized gift giving, we try. Lisa with her gift baskets, wine gifts, wine gift boxes. We really try to focus a personalized attention to our customers. So I think that's what sets us apart because it's such a competitive business today. And as I said, the brick and mortar stores, the individual freestanding stores, you're seeing less and less of it. In my town, there was just closed. It was devastating to me. A family hardware store that had been there since we'd moved there 40, 50 years ago. The dad and now the son, and he just closed and is building condos where his store was. And I hate to see, there were only two family-run hardware stores in the town, and now there's just one. But I used to go in there, and his dad, hi Jeff, he knew my name.
Yeah.
It was very personalized, and I think a lot of that type of shopping has gone by the wind, simply because people can't survive, just can't survive.
Yeah.
I think the internet has changed people's shopping habits drastically. Very immediate to go on the computer and go to Amazon and buy whatever and have it there the next day without moving from your chair. So some people still want that personalized experience, but a lot of people don't. So
Yeah. Well, I think it's because our neighborhood's so unique. Like, I like to go in, again, I don't even buy alcohol. I just like to go in and say hi and look around because it's such a cool place to be, because I want to be around people I know and I want to support them. But if I lived somewhere else where I didn't know my neighbors, I might go on Amazon.
But that's part of the beauty of the North End. I mean, when I was younger, when I was a kid, there were 20 pastry shops, 15, 20 butchers, bakeries. This was a mecca for shopping, not for restaurants. It was just the opposite. You'd come here on a Saturday and the sidewalks were filled with people shopping. And that's changed, but the character of the community is still there.
I agree.
Still there. And I still feel that there's a warmth in this neighborhood that you will never see anywhere else. I've never seen it before anywhere else that I've visited throughout the country. So I think I'm certainly not going to say that it was the same way it was 40 years ago, because it'd be foolish of me. But there is still this sense of community, the traditions, our heritage, which is very important to me, to try to maintain, the ethnicity of us being Italian.
Right.
So I think those things are important.
I do too. That's what makes it the neighborhood that people love to come visit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a unique community for this day and age. It really is. But I also think it's why the sidewalks are always filled with people, and we've got 90 great restaurants. So
Right.
it's again, the change has been, when I was a kid, there were maybe 15, 20 restaurants at the most. But you'd walk down Salem Street and you'd bump into a lamb hanging outside the window. Or you wanted the cannoli, there was 15 places you could go to. Coffee shops were in abundance. Drugstores. It was, really fruit stands, fish markets, Commercial Street, Fulton Street were all meat packing plants on Fulton Street. Commercial Street was all fruit and produce. Atlantic Avenue, I can remember when I was a kid, walking, my father would send me down to get fish, and Atlantic Avenue was just all fish markets, wholesale and retail. So, when I was younger, our trains, my dad was a distributor for California wines, and the trains used to come down Commercial Street, Atlantic Avenue, and where the Christopher Columbus apartments are was where they would stop, and we would unload our trains from there to bring it up to the shop. I mean, it was a commercial mecca.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get anything, olive oil. Across the street, 108 Richmond was originally a candy factory. A Jewish man owned it for years. Bill Hurwitz, his family. So it was, it was just different. It was a different. Now, now it's attracting a lot younger people. Restaurants. I don't call them bars; they're cafes.
Yeah.
It's a different market. But I'm happy to say that it still has, thanks to people like Frank DiPasquale, other businesses on Hanover Street, Cafe Paradiso. They've kept I would call it the flair of our heritage.
Yeah.
They haven't, and I think it's important to them as well. I think they all feel. I know Frank is a big proponent of keeping this an Italian neighborhood. And again, I do business in other states, and you don't see this in any other. New York, nowhere.
None of the other Little Italies, no.
No, you don't. So it's nice to see the tradition continue. As I said, it's continuing in a different way, but it's still there. So, which is important.
My North End, the podcast, is brought to you by Wildflower Hair Studio. Located at 215 Hanover Street on the second floor, they offer expert haircuts, coloring, styling, and makeup services for every day and every occasion. Whether you're looking for a fresh new look or just a trim, their experienced team delivers personalized care and attention to detail. Victoria and Cole are the absolute best. They'll have you looking flawless, and as a bonus, they have one of the best people watching spots in the entire North End. Planning your wedding? Wildflower specializes in custom bridal hair and makeup with on- and off-site services across New England. Bridal packages include trial sessions, a day of styling for brides, bridesmaids, and family members, ensuring everyone looks their best. Book your appointment or consultation at wildflowerhairstudio.com and experience the difference at Wildflower. This show is brought to you by Heart and Soul. Heart and Soul is a boutique located in the North End, and it's also online. It's owned and operated by mother and daughter team and North End residents Elaine and Gina DeGangi. Heart and Soul has the most fashionable trends at affordable prices, including clothing, shoes, and accessories for women, and now featuring Heart and Soul for the fellas, which is an online selection offering the same for men. All items are carefully handpicked. They often feature North End designers, and they're only available in limited quantities. So once they're gone, they're gone. So when you're in the North End, be sure to stop by, see Gina and Elaine at 354 Hanover Street, and stay on trend. This show is brought to you by the Golden Goose Market, or the Goose as it's known here in the North End. It's truly a neighborhood grocery store. From hard-to-find wines to everyday products, the Golden Goose has you covered. The proprietor, Steve DeAngelis, and his friendly and caring staff take pride in stocking the freshest fruits and vegetables, the highest quality meats and seafood, and a diverse selection of specialty items. You can visit them 7 days a week at 179 Commercial Street, and you can also order online at goldengoosemarket.com. They make local deliveries, and I swear they come to somebody's rescue just about every single day. Stop in and see them today. Yeah, no, I think you're right, because in the other Italian enclaves around the country, I think the same thing that happened to them is just what happened to America, like what you're saying, the way people shop. Just, I mean, all kinds of different things. We could be here all day.
Yep.
Most of it not so great in my opinion, but yeah, like
I agree.
we do have something special here.
I agree. It's I think it's still important to a lot of people in the community, and younger people. I also think the next generation. I think it's important for them to carry on this tradition. So hopefully it will continue.
Well, that's why I wanted to do the show. And I was grateful to be invited and included in the YouTube show, but turn it into a podcast so I
Right.
could get everybody's stories to hear about what it was like. Because you're right, I think people do want to carry it on and they want a template.
Right. No, it's we still have. There's a couple of still older customers of ours that still come in that were customers of my father's, and I love to see them. And I also love to see that next generation. We have a lot of customers whose parents shopped in my father's store and now are shopping in our store. So it's people that I've grown up with, basically.
Right.
And it's that's very special to me and my sister. Both of us feel, we have relationships with customers. We had a wine dinner Monday night at Mama Maria's, and one of my customers was there, who is a doctor at New England Medical, and his wife. And the first time he came into the store was over 40 years ago. He was a medical student,
Wow.
and he had done a year of school in northern Italy, and then he transferred and was going to school here in Boston. And he's now, I think he's second in line at Boston Medical. But I can remember the first time he came in the shop.
Really?
And we were talking about it that Monday night. There were other people at the table. Greg and I were saying to them, how long we've known each other. We both grew up together. And he remembered my dad. So it was, that's what makes me want to continue doing what I do. So that's a big plus.
That's
Big plus.
amazing.
Yeah.
Because, I guess it's about, obviously, the products, but it's about the relationships.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it means a lot to me. It really does. We've been blessed, really, to have a really nice customer base of people, and for a long period of time. So,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Is that what drew you in, like, all those years ago as a kid, just watching it happen?
Yeah, I was very close with my dad. I always felt that my dad was my mentor. My dad was not because he was my father, but no matter who you talk to, he's a very special person. He was a gentleman, very great work ethics, very family-minded. So I really looked up to him. And I also looked up to the way he ran his business and how focused and dedicated he was. Like myself, my dad did only two things: work and family. That was it. He was not sitting at a country club when, I played football in high school and college, and he could rarely or never come to a game, but he would always send my grandfather,
Aw.
my mother's father, because he wanted one of his somebody there for me to look up in the stand and say, "Yeah, there's my grandpa."
Right.
But it wasn't that he was out at a casino or playing golf he was working.
Right.
So for him it was, and I think his sense of and values of working was to do and give the best that he could to his family. So, and that's what I've tried to do throughout my life. So, hopefully I did a good job.
I think you have.
I hope so. So,
How'd you guys get into, you have your own, it's like a liqueur, right?
so my dad had the import distributor company, and in '53 he opened it, the year I was born. And there was a gentleman in California who had married a Petri cigar daughter. Petri cigars were originally from Italy. And my grandfather was importing those to the U.S. and selling them in the shop, because we were a tobacco and grocery store. And the Petri family introduced my father to a gentleman out in California who was married to the daughter of Petri. And his name was John Cella. And John and my dad got together. John had a very small winery in Napa. Got together with my dad, and they started bottling a wine called and my dad called it Parma Wines. And it was in a gallon jug. There was a red and white table wine. And my dad started selling it here in Massachusetts. And the brand built to 100,000 cases of wine a year in New England. It was
Wow.
a big brand. We had a warehouse over in Cambridge. We were the first building that they took for the big dig.
No kidding.
Yeah. So that's how it started. And then when my dad passed away, it was the year that they took our building by eminent domain. I was 32 years old. Lisa and I were like up in the air when my dad died. And so we closed that part of our business, but we kept the licenses. And then the store won the award as the best Italian wine shop in the country by the Italian government.
Wow.
And I started getting some phone calls from producers in Italy asking if, I'd be willing to do some consulting for them. So I was, 34, 35 years old, free trip to Italy. Sure, I'll go over and so I'd go over and help design labels and talking about the American market. And one of the companies, I had met a guy, and one of the companies offered me a brokerage business to act as their agent for New England. And I took it, and we started representing this company and selling their wines here in New England. And it got bigger and bigger. We had a distributor that we started with, Horizon Beverage, who is now Southern Wine and Spirits, but I had a great relationship with the original owner who was a family business, Bob Epstein, who also became a mentor to me. He just sold the business about 6 months ago.
Oh, wow. So that went on for a long time.
Yeah. I've been blessed having great relationships with people that I've done business with for a long time, and it's not business. I get very close with my suppliers. They're family to me. So, my limoncello producer, we started it's 25 years this year that we've been together. The wine company that I do business with is almost 40 years.
Wow.
So it's well beyond business relationships. So that's how it started. And then my sister, who's the smarter one in my family, came in. I went into her office one day and she said, you're giving all these companies all this information. Why don't we just do it ourselves? And I said, that sounds like a great idea. So we came out with our own labels and we started bottling our own wines, finding small producers to make the wines for us. And I was going back and forth to Italy every year, and I saw a limoncello, which began in the Amalfi Coast where my grandparents are from. They're from Salerno. But I'd be up in Venice and I see limoncello. Next year I go to Milan and I see limoncello. I came home, I said to Lisa, this liqueur is blowing up in Italy. I said, maybe we should look and see about doing it. And she said, yeah, that's a good idea. So I went to Vinitaly that year with my wife, my Irish-Lithuanian wife, who speaks no Italian, and I was doing a consulting job at a winery in the booth at the fair, and Ann was sitting there, and I knew she was bored. I said, honey, why don't you go for a walk? I said, I'll meet you in an hour. We'll be done. So I finished. I was supposed to be signing a contract with a large distillery that I did business with prior to make our limoncello. More commercial style, not homemade, or handmade, I should say. I finished. I walked out. My wife said to me, you've got to come and meet somebody. I said, who? She said, I met this family. They are in the limoncello business. They're amazing. They're the nicest people. I said, Ann, I got to sign a contract this afternoon with Cassoni. She said, you got to come and meet these people. You really have to. I said, okay. So I walked over. I said, do they speak English? She said, no. I said, well, how did you converse with them? She said, I could just have this feeling. You got to come and meet them. And my wife literally has nothing to do with my business. She never has. So I walk over and meet the two sons and the mother. Charming, nicest people. I call up Lisa. At 4 o'clock in the morning, I wake her up. Lisa, I said, I've met these people. Their product is great. They'll tweak it to whatever we want. They'll use our package. We had designed our own packaging. We trademarked the name. She said, well, if you feel that strongly, come home, bring some samples back. Let's talk about it. And so I flew home on the Sunday. I'm back on a plane on Wednesday. And I go back and meet the family. And that's how we started. We were really the first limoncello to come into the U.S. market.
Really?
Yeah. And we started in, just Massachusetts, and now we're in 18 states. And it's been my passion, really. And again, it's great because it's another part of my business, totally different from the retail. So for me, and it's for Lisa and I, we've developed a brand. I mean, we
You sure
really
have.
And you rarely, if ever, see. I can only think of maybe one or two brands that a retailer has developed to the extreme that we have, and we've kept the quality level. My philosophy has always been, all natural, no color additives. It's funny when I see now Kennedy talking about getting rid of red dye
the
and
food
yellow
dye,
dye. We never would do it, put that in there. And Norma would my producer in Italy. And we've kept the artisanal part of it, not commercializing it or for us, it's very important that the lemons are all hand picked. They're when they run through the machine, they're hand selected. If they're bruised or they're not ripe, or they get thrown into a separate bin. And it's important for me, as Italian, to try to maintain my heritage. And my family, as I said, is from that part of Italy. So it's important that whatever we do, it's got to be in the tradition of that region.
Yeah.
It's important to me. Probably could have done more business, less expensive if we had gone the more commercial route with a large distillery, using flavor instead of natural lemon peel. But that's not what we intend. That wasn't the intent when we decided to go in that direction. We wanted to make sure this was, if you went to visit Positano or Sorrento, what you were going to drink there is what you're going to drink here in my limoncello. So, and we've really tried to keep that tradition. And there's been companies in the U.S. that are making limoncello, but I tell everybody, a lemon from Amalfi or Sorrento does not taste the same as a lemon from Napa Valley or anywhere out in California or Florida. It just doesn't. It's a totally different experience. And again, I'm big proponent of tradition, whether it be the North End or my products. That's how we've built our business, and it's still an important part for me and my sister. So
You've done a great job with it.
Thank you.
That's for sure.
Thank you.
So what would you like to see from the North End, as we move into the next generation?
Moving forward, what would I like to see? I'm not going to tell you that I don't miss some of the things that we've lost over the years. The Big Dig had a lot to do when that barrier was up. It was a separation between this neighborhood and the rest of Boston. However, it also opened up the floodgates to the North End. I was talking to Frank DiPasquale this morning, and I'm happy to see that, he's doing that development on Cross Street, and it's going to be more retail oriented.
Yeah, I'm really excited about
He
that.
is putting in a cafe and a restaurant, but he's also putting in retail shops. And I think it's important because, again, I look back when I was younger. I mean, and things have changed. I mean, I understand there's, Whole Foods, there's all these places out in the suburbs now. People don't any longer have to come to the North End. But I still tell people, listen, you're not going to get the same prosciutto like you're going to at Sula Maria or Brico as you're going to get at Whole Foods out in Melrose. Not going to be the same.
Oh, you're so right.
And you're also not going to have the experience of having a guy slice it properly, package it properly, and know the difference between aged Parma prosciutto or prosciutto that's 6 months old. You go into Sula Maria, it's a different experience. You go into Brico, it's a different experience. They're breads. You can get bread from other bread stores, but it's not the same. So there is an experience here, and I miss that there used to be a much bigger experience.
Right.
I mean, the bread stores. I love that Bova, Paziali, Brico, that they're still here. But, there were fresh pasta trios on Hanover Street, had the best fresh pasta you'd ever want to have. The raviolis were delicious. Biaggi's on Richmond Street. They'd hand cut. You'd walk in, and they had the old machine that they'd crank and would hand cut your fresh pasta. The Biaggi family. I mean, those things I miss. I'm not going to say I don't. I really do. It was a real shopping food experience, and people would come every week. Saturdays was crazy here, but not crazy like you see now with young people and they're going into cafes and bars and restaurants. It was just the opposite. It was shopping. People they'd be walking around with shopping bags. That part I miss, and I'm glad, as I said, because I would like to see a meld of retail, restaurants. I think that's what makes this neighborhood. And, I think it will continue. I think there's enough people here that are still interested, and young people that are still interested in maintaining the character and the heritage of this neighborhood. So a lot of new people, a lot of, not Italian. But I do think even a lot of young people, they enjoy and respect the tradition of this neighborhood. So that's nice to see. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's like no other neighborhood in the city. They can say whatever they want about Seaport or South End, or it doesn't have the warmth, charm, and connection with people that we have here.
Oh, I agree. I feel like I live in a completely different city than the rest of the city.
Yeah.
When I leave and go to another neighborhood, I feel like I'm in a totally different place.
Exactly.
My North End, the podcast, is brought to you by the Boston Guido and Guido Entertainment, Boston's go-to crew for unforgettable nights and legendary events. From exclusive parties to private VIP experiences, the Boston Guido knows how to bring the energy, the music, and the vibe. Whether it's your birthday, your wedding, the Fisherman's Feast, or just a Saturday worth remembering, Guido Entertainment makes it epic. Follow the Boston Guido on Instagram and book your next unforgettable moment today. My North End, the podcast, is brought to you by Cantina Italiana. They're the North End's oldest restaurant. They've been here since 1931, and now they're starting a new chapter. They're officially a part of the Antico Forno and Terra Mia family, bringing the same tradition, hospitality, and delicious food and drinks right to the heart of the North End. So come on down to Cantina Italiana. Come see them at 346 Hanover Street for an authentic North End meal. The show is brought to you by Looks by Layza. Layza is an absolutely incredible makeup artist here in the Boston area with over 7 years of experience. Her work has been featured in People Magazine, Boston Magazine, Style Me Pretty, Boston Man Magazine, and more. Layza specializes in bridal, commercial, editorial, and personal branding. And I can personally attest that she's basically a miracle worker. My own co-host wife didn't even recognize me at first from the one show I did where I was a complete amateur. I wore no makeup. And then when I got it done, she said that I looked more like myself on camera. So if you ever need makeup done for any occasion, Layza is simply the best. So go to looksbylayza.com to schedule your appointment today.
I mean, if you look at any other part of the city, it's a very safe city. We own apartments up above the shop, and young women like yourself will come in to rent, and the following week their father walks in, and I'll say to the dad, don't worry, it's a safe neighborhood. Your daughter has any issues, tell her to come here, see me. So I've got 5 or 6 daughters that live above me because, in fact, one of them just moved out, was there for over 10 years. And
wow.
She's moving to Florida. Her dad came up, and their dad came in, gave me a hug. Jeff, thank you so much for all the years you kept an eye on my daughter. And it was a nice feeling. So, but yeah, it's that type of a neighborhood. It still is. And I still love walking up the street and see this guy that I know and that guy that, hi, Jeff, how are you? When I was a kid, I was, so my dad would say, go up to the fruit store and get your mother wants, I don't know, a head of broccoli. And I'd walk up the street and every other person would, hey, Jeff, hey.
Yeah.
And God forbid I did anything wrong. Before I got back to the store, my father would be standing at the doorway waiting for me because he'd get the phone call, So anyway, it was that part we've lost, but it's still, even when I was walking from the shop to here, I must have seen a half a dozen people that are, hey, Jeff, how are you? What are you doing down this neck of the woods?
Well, yeah, because you crossed over Hanover.
Exactly.
That's what did it.
It's like the demilitarized zone when I crossed the street.
Yeah.
So, but it's, and it's nice to see young people opening up, new businesses, because I think it's as long as we keep, it's also nice, for me, it's nice not to see these big chains coming into the neighborhood.
The neighborhood's done a really good job of that.
They have. They've done a great job. And, I was not a big proponent when Starbucks was going to try to come in here.
That was a whole debacle.
Oh, yeah. So at any rate, again, that's what's going to keep the charm of this neighborhood is people like Cafe Paradiso, who's, their mother and father started there, and then her brother, and now Adrian and her nieces, Frankie Di Pasquale. I mean, Frank has done a lot to, and he's also a, big proponent of the church.
Yes.
Big proponent of, I spoke to him this morning, he's opening the Italian Heritage thing on Prince Street.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing.
On Little Prince, which, again, a lot of people don't understand the history of the North End. And I'm glad that he's doing that because it's going to, and he showed me plans for what he wants to do on Cross Street, which is, again, to me, that's the gateway to the North End.
Yes.
And for tourists that are coming in, it's going to be a beautiful way to enter our neighborhood.
That's why it could never be a Starbucks.
Nope. Yeah. So anyway, that's how I see the future of our neighborhood.
I do too. And you know what? I think we could have a very good opportunity to have a nice blend of the old and the new, because when you talk about young people starting businesses, brick and mortar shops, I think the internet has made that easier to do, because if they can get a following online, it draws attention to the store.
But even looking at this picture behind you of all these guys from St. Anthony's.
Oh, yeah.
These were all sons of parents that I knew.
Right.
And these young guys, are keeping up this tradition, which is important. And they're not just keeping it up to make money, or now St. Anthony's Feast is huge, but they're keeping it up to carry on the tradition of the St. Anthony Feast. They truly are.
Yes.
If you speak to a lot of these guys, they're carrying on the tradition of their family, of this neighborhood, and of the feast. And the same with the Fisherman's Feast. I was talking to a guy the other day who runs it, and it's the same thing for him. Meanwhile, his grandfather was a fisherman.
Right.
Originally from Shaka. I mean, so they're all trying, which is heartwarming to me, because these are the people that are going to continue to make sure that the North End remains as the #1 Italian community in the country. I won't be around to do it. Sad to say, my one daughter who lives out in the suburbs won't be around, won't be doing it. So
Well, she's doing her part. She's at St. John's.
yeah, she's at St.
She's doing
John's.
great.
Yeah, she's been a school teacher. I think she's now the oldest, not the oldest chronologically, but she's the oldest teacher that's been there for as long as she has. Very proud of her. She has a real passion to teach children, and I'm very, very proud of her. So she's done a great job.
Well, that's amazing. God bless her. That's a really important job.
Yeah. I call her the Pied Piper of St. John's. So yeah, she does a good job. But again, also important, real to me, very important to have a Catholic school stay in this neighborhood.
Yes.
Especially for as long as St. John's has been there. It's important. It's part of our heritage. It's part of the tradition of this community. And for me, that's an important thing. Don't ever want to lose it. Just don't want to lose it. So, Lisa and I really, we've been blessed that we've enjoyed everything that this neighborhood has had to offer. So, I can't say that if I had a store anywhere else, whether in the city or in a suburb, that I would have this connection that I have here.
I don't think so. I think you're right.
Yeah, and I think there are other business people besides myself that feel the same way. I look at, I was walking down the store this morning after I had my coffee, and Frank Pisano was from Saraceno. I mean, I've known Frank since we were both, he was older than me, but I've known him a long time. And, works hard, still works hard. Again, he's been on Hanover Street, I don't know how many years, I can remember. So it's still nice to see that regime of people, that old regime, they're still around. They're still around. So, or the next generation is there. I look at Modern Pastry, and I see John and his son.
Yeah, Johnny. Yeah.
And, it makes me feel good, makes my heart warm to see, and his son's got as much or more passion than he does. Hardworking, but it's so nice to see that next generation moving in. It's like Frank's son and daughter. Because we're getting older, and we're not going to be able to do this forever. So it's nice to have that, to see that generation will continue on, and I just hope, and I think they do. I hope they continue to have the passion that their fathers and mothers have, and their love for the neighborhood. But I think they will. from what I see with what's going on. So,
I think
because
you're
that's
right.
what's going to make the neighborhood continue. Certainly, as I say, tell people I'm on the downswing, but
Still doing pretty good.
hope so. The future is the younger people, but I think a lot of them understand their father and mothers and mine efforts and moving forward. How we can maintain this community. So, and it's been also good. There's been a good meld of people because there's a lot of non-Italians that live in the North End now and the waterfront. But there's been it's a good mix of people, and I also think it's a community, which is the most important thing. And we all have the same interests. So, do I wish sometimes that it wasn't as crazy on Saturday nights and as noisy? Of course I do. Everybody,
Me too.
Anybody that is, but it's part of the popularity of the neighborhood. It's part of the charm of the neighborhood. And you're going to turn people away, tell people don't come down here.
Right.
It's so. I tell people that are moving into one of our apartments something. This is a community. However, it's very popular now. It's become people feel warm when they come here. You rarely have to worry about any type of lawlessness or something going wrong. So it's people want to come here, and it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Not a bad problem, but I'm not going to say that sometimes on a Saturday or Sunday I'm driving down Hanover Street to get home, and it takes me longer to get to the end of Hanover Street than it does to get from 93 to my house, which is 12 minutes away.
Unbelievable.
So,
But I believe it, yeah.
It's okay. That's okay. So,
You're certainly a part of what makes the community great, and thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing your story. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for feeling that way. I don't look at myself. I don't look at myself as with that image. However, I will tell you, I walk up. I'm walking from the coffee shop in the morning, and somebody will walk by. How are you, sir? It's like, sir.
Who's
Are you
sir?
kidding me? Or Jeff, they'll call me. What do you think about this? What do you think about? You're one of the oldest guys down here. I'm like, really? But I don't know if they mean chronologically or just how long that I've been working here. But it's heartwarming for me and really an honor for me to feel that people look at me as a neighborhood guy who's been down here and are respectful, and it means a lot to me. It really does. As I get older, it makes it a little easier because people do. I do feel that when I talk to people now. So yeah, it's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling.
Well, you deserve it.
Thank you. This is a great idea. Really,
thanks.
Really is. It's a nice way to get people to really understand what the neighborhood is like.
Well, that's why I
And the
wanted to
people-
do
And
it.
the people that are in the neighborhood. So it's nice that you give us the opportunity to speak to people, about our neighborhood. So it's thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate your kind words.
My pleasure.
Well, thanks for being here. You're the best.
Thank you. And to you also, thank you for inviting me. And come and visit the North End. Just don't come on a Saturday night.